Pretty Little Liars, a television series, sometimes deals with disturbing and problematic topics. We provided a list of content warnings in the episode description. Welcome to Dead Ends. I'm Emily.
I'm Brenton.
And we have two horribly boring episodes for you.
Just a couple of duds.
These are absolutely dud episodes. Mm-hmm. And this is when I started doing the thing where you kind of save episodes to watch back to back. Because you didn't want to have to sit through no information because you're getting these 1 week at a time.
And just boring subplots.
Yeah, which is so weird because I remember the game, the board game being it's such an interesting concept.
Mm-hmm. They're literalizing the game.
And then instead of following that path, they're what if we made this horrifically boring?
Yeah, it's not even people love Jumanji. They're not making this Jumanji.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The stakes of the board game being put out in the world, and they try, but it's kind of just the same old stuff. And it's not hitting in the same way as previous A things. So it's they needed to do a better job of making the board game and the real world more impactful on one another.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's fun. That's a fun concept. I like Jumanji, the concept, better than I like Jumanji, the film. I haven't seen any of the other modern ones. So I know those are video games. Don't ask me about those. I don't know. But, that's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. And yeah, so we'll cover them and we'll get out of here.
We're going to get in. We're going to get out. It'll probably still take at least an hour.
Probably. And yeah, we've never had two boring episodes like this, back to back. At least we get some goofy stuff in the second episode. But before I launch into summary, I always put this at the end of the episode, and Emily flagged it a few weeks ago to do it at the top. So if you or someone you know would take submissions for podcast art, I know I really had to pull that out.
Do you know an artist? Are you an artist? Have you met an artist and you think they do good art? We would love for them to help us, and we would love to pay for someone to do our podcast art when we transition over to Lost. And a theme song. And if you know anyone who can do music, plays music, are you someone who can play music or do music? Can you create jingles? I can remember them because let me tell you, I've never heard a jingle that I could forget. And if you are this person or you know this person, send their information or your information to deadendspcast@gmail.com.
Awesome. And also, if...
I was he's having a hard time. Let me take over.
I'm glad you did.
Let me swoop in with the assist.
Needs help. Oh, God, he's dying out there on the improv stage.
Yes, and...
What is it? Do they literally just tag each other in? I'm trying to remember how they... It doesn't matter. And then also ahead of the finale, which will be in 5 weeks. If you have any topics or things you want to cover, if you have questions at the end, so we can do a big recap on the end of the series, send them over. Or also send them to the email or drop them as a comment on YouTube. There you go. Okay, so now we can get on with these amazing episodes. Season 7, Episode 12, Episode 152. These boots were made for stalking. The friends all look over the game board. Allison thinks it's Jenna who did this, but Hanna and Aria don't think it is. Spencer feels bad for playing. They wonder about Sydney, and Emily says, don't even go there. She's done, just essentially, starts a thing. It's oh no, Sydney wasn't also someone sent after me, blah, 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 and, doesn't want to even, think that, Sydney is being involved in this to, play the game. And then Emily's completely done with this, doesn't even want to interface with the game, and just leaves. Hanna says she can't just walk out like that. We're in this together, and Spencer agrees. Aria leaves Fitz's as a man stops her. His name is Jared Healy, and he works for the Philly Inquirer, and he's working on a story about Fitz being reunited with his long-lost fiancée. Aria's excuse me, check your facts, I'm his fiancée, and leaves. Um, Emily and Paige review the lineup for the swim meet. Paige apologizes for what she said about Allison, and Emily's like, "Don't apologize, it's my fault." And they talked about her. She talks about her history with Allison, and Paige is like, that talks about her history with Allison with Paige. And there's a high school girl around the corner listening intently, like, "Ooh," she just gives off bad vibes. Emily sees her after Paige leaves, and she's like, "Excuse me, Addison, what are you still doing here?" And asks her why she missed yesterday's practice. And then Addison is just like, talks back to her and is like, like, fuck you, essentially. She doesn't like play by the rules. And then Emily tells her she should just go to class, and Addison stomps off. Spencer comes home to Veronica in the kitchen. Spencer asks who Veronica was on the phone with. It was Peter, and Spencer's like, he's avoiding me. And it's like, well, he's hurting too. And Spencer's like, well, what does Melissa know? And Veronica's like, well, Melissa wasn't aware of all of the situation, but like we get the idea that like Melissa knew that Spencer was adopted.
Well, she was older than her.
Right.
Like she would have had to have, right?
Probably, yeah. I guess she would have been like 2.
No, their age gap is huge.
Oh, wait, no, sorry. It's like 5 years.
I mean, not huge. I feel like that's a very normal age gap. But like for television siblings, which are usually like a year apart somehow.
Wait, no, even worse than
it's
that,
like
actually.
7 because she's like 22 at the beginning of the show.
Uh-huh. And same with her brother also, Jason. Spencer says only you and Dad got the irony of of me checking back in where I was born. Veronica says that was hard for me, and Spencer's like, I feel like a part of me will never leave there. Mona comes into Hannah's apartment. Catherine wants to wear more of Hannah's stuff and pulled Hannah's closet to show her. Mona shows off the dress Catherine wants, and Hannah's like, well, she can't wear that. And is super insistent and won't budge on it despite Mona pleading with her. And then Mona leaves, and it's like, call me after you have your coffee. Allison dismisses class, and Emily comes in to berate Addison for not being sick yesterday because she went and looked up the school records, and it tells her that like she actually didn't register as sick yesterday, so she's off the swim meet lineup. And Allison's like, are you sure you want to do that? And leaves. And Emily then turns to Allison, and Allison's like, well, she's like me but much worse. What if my child is just like her or me? And Emily's like, well, have you made a decision yet? And Allison's like, no. Emily asks to come over and help her, and Allie doesn't know what to do, and Emily hugs her, and then we see Addison was overhearing everything and watches them hug. Marco comes over.
She looks so menacing watching this, and I'm like...
It's like so innocent.
People hug each other all the time.
Yeah, teachers are allowed to like care for like one another like this and like support each other.
And just people in general. Uh-huh. People hug.
Right. Ooh, she's got her. Marco comes over to the barn after Spencer called him. Spencer asks if he's looking for Mary Drake and would you commit? And she asks if he would consider making that a top priority. Marco's like, why? Spencer's like, well, I found something in my house, and shows him the Radley letter from Mary. And it's like, it was addressed to me before I was born. Addison looks through photos on her phone, and we see it's of Emily and Allison hugging. Hanna messes with the dress for Catherine on a dummy. Kev says she's been obsessing over this and tells her that Mona may have a point. Hanna says it's not fully my design. Okay, I can't give it over to her. I'd made it for Claudia. Then Claudia gave me a ton of suggestions for it, and it completely made the dress. Kev's like, well, just take this opportunity and kiss her. Addison stops to talk to Paige. Addison's like, well, I wasn't at practice because like I'm not comfortable with the new coach, and I'm being punished because I didn't respond the way she wanted me to. And that, Mrs. Fields has been inappropriate, or Miss Fields, sorry, has been.
I was like, that's Pam.
Yeah. Miss Fields has been inappropriate, and like other girls are worried too. Addison says she has photos of her brushing girl's thigh. I can't find the photo right now, but I do have it. Like where she's like, she's been inappropriate with other teachers too, and shows Paige a picture of Allison and Emily hugging. And Paige is like, you did the right thing coming to me, and send these over to me. Aria visits Holden to plan her wedding menu. Holden is prepping for a big wedding, and Aria offers her help, and he accepts. Holden notices Aria stare at her wedding ring, and he's like, is Fitz still in New York? Apparently, Nicole's family bought Fitz an apartment near the clinic. Aria asks where the reporter read that Nicole was his fiancée. Holden asks why he would keep that a secret. Aria wonders why he keeps putting things off, and then Holden's like, well, has any other guy, like since Fitz, like in college and things, told you he loved you? And Aria's like, well, yeah. But what does that matter? And Holden's like, well, did you share that with Fitz? And Aria's like, well, that's different. Holden's like, well, everyone has a history. Just because you weren't together during that time doesn't mean he stayed frozen in amber. This doesn't apply here. Paige shows Emily the photo, and Emily wants to go to the principal with it. Paige says, like, Addison's dangerous. And Emily's like, well, who's going to listen to her blackmail? And Paige says, she can take you down. And Emily says, yeah, if I confront her, maybe I'll get in trouble. And if you intervene, you'll also get in trouble too. Paige says, well, she doesn't have pictures of me. And Emily's like, well, what's that supposed to mean?
So fucked up.
It's so funny. Paige says Allison brings her drama. And then Emily's like, well, this isn't about Allison. And Paige says, well, she'll talk to the other teammates like and try and head this off. You should have just gone straight to the principal. Come back around on this. Marco says Mary checked in tells Spencer that Mary checked in at a hotel last Tuesday, but they don't have any other leads on where she's going. He asks if Spencer really wants this. She's the one who could have pulled the trigger. Spencer's like, she wasn't. Margot asks where she found the letter. If your parents hung on to it, they may have some way of contacting her. Cue the sound of a walking stick. As Jenna comes in, she says, Detective Fury, I believe you've been looking for me. I've been hiding. I can't do that anymore. I need to tell someone the truth. Margot's like, well, we're not alone in here. And Jenna's like, I know. I could hear her breath. Hello, Spencer. This is the same person that had like 3 people walk in front of her like 5 times like 2 episodes ago.
Remember these inconsistencies as the story goes on.
It's okay. So in that, she couldn't like even like tell that someone was close to her, but now she's Daredevil.
Do you think there's a chance that she was intentionally not shooting them?
Okay. If it is, it's really funny. I don't know, but she fires on him though at the end.
That's true.
I guess maybe there was someone else we didn't see that was also running with them. Like, okay, now that you have me down this thought path, I think there's a way that I could potentially rationalize what was going on here.
Pretty Little Liars logic.
Truly. Jenna asked to make sure Noel is dead. He wasn't just out to get the girls. He wanted to kill Jenna too. First Sarah, then her. He was a sociopath and promised Jenna some of Charlotte's money. Charlotte had promised to pay for another surgery for Jenna's eyes. Margot asked why Noel needed the money, and Jenna's like, well, his parents cut him off. He lured Jenna into her old school, and she was forced to play along. She brought the gun along to protect herself, and everything she said was for Noel's benefit, so she could make it out alive. He also wanted her to do one-liners.
He wrote the script.
Exactly. Read it as I wrote it. Spencer was about to say she's full of shit when Marco cuts her off. An officer escorts Jenna to the interrogation room. Spencer's upset and wants her locked up, and Marco's like, well, we can't charge her yet because the bullet that hit you doesn't match the gun that she was using, and unless there's something you're not telling me. Hanna calls Claudia for the 3rd time. When she gets hung up on, she gets a text from Spencer catching her up on Jenna.
Oh, what you don't know, Marco.
Truly.
If there's anything you're not telling me, where would you like me to start?
Oh, we need a whole day. Clear your calendar. Spencer visits Aria at Holden's work. Aria asks why Spencer was there, and Spencer says why Marco was there. And then Spencer's like, well, he's helping me find Mary. And Aria asks if it's a good idea, and Spencer's like, well, I'm not sure. And she doesn't know what she'd say to Mary anyway whenever she finds her, but she thinks she's just trying to figure out the parts of her that don't really make sense, and maybe it will if she gets to know Mary. Emily's at the brew talking to Hanna on the phone and hasn't been able to talk to Spencer at all. Jenna walks in with she's now part of a trio of like 2 other menacing like blind people. It's a choice. Emily sees her send a text, and Emily rounds a corner and sees Addison. Spencer comes home, and Veronica is excited. She's coming with her to check out a new field office. Spencer's like, well, I'm going to look, once you're all set up, I'm going to look for other work. Veronica gets a call, and it's from a realtor because they're selling the house. Spencer is upset, and he's like, fine, it's whatever. It's just a house. And Veronica's like, well, it's your home too. This is about a family that lived here. And I tried to hold it together through all the lies, and it doesn't matter if we aren't blood related or not. And Spencer cries and is like, we should go.
It's so wild.
It's so funny.
By the way,
You're the one
Spencer,
selling the house.
We're selling the house. We didn't tell you yet.
Yeah. Why aren't you reacting the way I thought you would?
It's so wild.
Holden is back at work and thanks Aria for helping out. Aria gets a news alert on her phone of a story on Fitz and Nicole being reunited.
She's got her Google alerts on, girl. I have never related more to Aria than in this particular era of her life. Not because I've had this happen, but because I would turn on the Google alerts for that.
Fitz, Nicole.
Yeah, wouldn't you? You'd put her name in and you'd put in Google alerts.
Columbia hostage.
Do people still do Google alerts? Is that still a thing?
I think so.
Let me know.
Probably.
Have you set up a Google alert? Let us know in the comments.
That's right. Cool.
If you haven't, good for you.
Uh-huh. But as she sets down her phone, Holden sees the story. Mona meets with Hanna at the Radley, and they go through what they can dress Catherine in. They see Jenna walk in a white version of Hanna's dress, and Mona wonders what the fuck is going on. Hanna freaks out, and Mona says, one of us is going to find out. She walks up with Hanna and asks where Jenna got the dress. Jenna says, you know what? Jenna says it was a gift. It was a gift. Yep. I wrote this down wrong, so I was throwing my head. Mona and Hanna push on this, and Jenna says, we can't talk right now, and leaves. Mona wonders what she was doing, walk around free, and Hanna says, the game, ... And Mona's like, what game? And Hannah's like, I can't do this right now, and leaves. It's the most obvious thing you could possibly say, because you've been referring to this thing as the game.
And so now Mona's like, oh,
wait, what was I? Oh, I was watching, this is a tangent. I was watching Star Wars Rebels, and in that episode, in the season 2 finale, someone's like, what are you doing? And someone says, what are you planning on doing this for? And they're like, the end game. I'm like, oh my God. This is everywhere. Emily asks Allison to get the spare key to Spencer's barn because Addison is just some pawn from Jenna, and they need some confirmation. Odd. Anything to justify going after this teenager. Emily is worried that AD will reveal that she cheated on her, that AD cheated for Emily on her test to get her degree and will get her fired from the school. Allison is upset that Emily already engaged with AD and didn't know about this. Emily pleads, and Allison grabs the key to go to Spencer's barn and says, you're not doing this alone. Hanna and Caleb follow Jenna. Oh, sorry. That wasn't clear at the beginning. She wants to go to Spencer's barn to play the game to find out that Addison is a pawn of AD. By playing the game, she should be able to figure this out, essentially. That's her logic, anyway. It's just kind of walking straight into AD's trap, but...
It's a stretch, but she's an athlete.
Sometimes kids just have bad vibes.
Some kids just suck.
That's Addison in a nutshell. Hanna and Caleb follow Jenna and her posse to the cobbler, who's repairing Hannah's shoes. And they're like, oh, what's this? Hanna thinks she's taking her shoes, too. They see that Jenna didn't go inside, but the other two did.
It's so funny.
So there's an Adam Sandler movie about this. It's called The Cobbler, where he uses...
I thought you were joking, and I was like, I don't get it.
No, 100% serious. So that it's a cobbler that puts on other people's shoes, and they becomes that person.
Oh.
Uh-huh. It's like a little magical sort of thing. And it was supposedly super horrible. And this is from the same director that, do you remember the movie Spotlight about the newspaper breaking the story on the Catholic abuse in the Catholic Church?
Yes.
Yeah, this was that guy's movie follow-up.
You win some, you lose some.
I know.
High highs and low lows. That's the game of life.
Uh-huh. Okay, yeah. So they go to the cobbler. Hanna thinks Jenna's taking her shoes too. They see that Jenna didn't go inside, but the other two did. Caleb then goes to talk to Jenna. Jenna asks if it's Hanna, and Caleb's like, close. Jenna says she's there to meet up for a concert rehearsal, and Caleb asks, well, your friends didn't have any instruments. He asks who brought her back to Rosewood. Jenna goes to leave, and Caleb stops her and says, the cops are going to punch holes in your story. Jenna says, the only person who can contradict my story is dead. Hanna goes into the cobbler's and finds it empty. She goes into the back part of the shop, which is this encased steel cage within the shop. And
I think it's where a machine is.
Right, yeah. So it's I guess essentially to keep customers out from when you're actually cobbling. And then the door shuts on her. Allison and Emily open the board game and find Emily's pieces at the high school. The phone is lit up with a button that says #benchme. They click on it and see a security camera video of Addison smoking a bong with her boyfriend in a car. Oh my God.
It's the best video too, because it's they wanted to make it really obvious. So this is the world's largest, but short and fat bong, because it had to be able to fit on her lap. It just looks like it looks like it's literally edited in.
It's really funny. Oh, what narcs? Emily's like, yes. Gonna get this teen in trouble for smoking weed.
Yeah,
sorry,
who
smoking
cares?
pot. That's what she would say.
Yeah, smoking pot. You can't smoke pot and swim. Just ask Michael Phelps. Allegedly.
Didn't work for him. Aria goes to the clinic where Nicole is at and finds it closed. She pleads with the nurse out front and gives her a sob story to let her in. As the nurse goes to let her in, Holden appears out of nowhere, running down the street and yells, "Aria, don't do it."
Which is the weirdest fucking thing ever.
That he followed her to like New York or something, right? I'm trying to remember.
Philadelphia or New York?
Yeah, maybe it's Philly, but like it's a drive.
He followed her all the way there. And then also like,
don't be this. Yeah, it's stuck.
I don't blame Aria. Like, I would have been like, let me talk to her. Girl to girl, you know? I'm so sorry. Your life, this is absolutely horrible.
Hi, welcome back. So, Fitz and I were engaged. Oh, God. Hannah's stuck in the cage and starts freaking out and having flashbacks to being captured in the shed. Cobbler machine turns on and a shoe swings from the ceiling at Hanna. Ooh. She hides in the corner.
That would be terrifying. Don't act like you wouldn't scream if a shoe just swung at you in the dark.
I guess, yeah, but like just watching it like this horror movie scene, it's like, oh no, a shoe.
You've never been at the receiving end of an attack of a heel, have you?
Well, it's not even a heel.
Oh, that's true.
It's just like a dress shoe, just like just a Nike coming at you. She hides in the corner and gets a text from AD that says, "Wait your turn, bitch. It'll come and you'll be ready." Okay. Caleb comes in and finds her in the cage and freaks out and gets her out. Emily dismisses a girl out of the locker room and confronts Addison and blackmails her about smoking weed. Addison says maybe you'll want to use your time more wisely, and Emily yells at her and dumps all her shit about Allison being mean to her and girls being mean to her in high school. And this is at best like a 16-year-old. And Paige comes in to save the day and says the principal was forwarded an email you sent to your friends bragging about getting rid of Miss Fields and escorts her to the office. Aria and Holden grab food. Aria asks if she should give the ring back, and Holden says, "God, no. You can't expect him to be on your timetable, Aria. Give him another week or two if he needs it." Aria says, "Thank you," and Holden's like, "No sweat."
It's like the worst.
It's the worst advice you've ever give. Just like stop complaining.
It's like, you know, it's a weird situation. Just vibe.
Maybe he doesn't have to be ready. He has to communicate.
Yeah. They don't have to get married in that moment, but
No.
he has to say, "Hey."
Yeah, give her some time. Give him some time, sure, but like, say something.
Yeah.
Emily sits alone in the locker room, like she put herself in timeout. It's really funny. She's facing the wall. To which I followed up with, "She has never been more Catholic."
Forgive me, Father, for I've sinned.
I know.
My last confession was yesterday.
I yelled at a teenager in anger for my own problems.
I blackmailed a child.
Yes. Paige comes in and asks if she's ready and goes to grab her stuff.
Why does Emily need a ride home? How did she get there?
She's going to sit on the back of Paige's bike. Makes no sense. Such a traumatizing day trying to bust a kid for smoking. Emily looks at her teacher inbox and finds an envelope with the puzzle piece. Her phone goes off to a text that says, "Embrace your darkness, Em. I've had to. That's how you win the game."
Dark Betty.
Darkness. Going after 16-year-olds. Emily puts the puzzle piece in on the board with all the friends gathered. Emily told them what she had to do, and Spencer wonders if the puzzle is the map, and they wonder if AD wants them to find something or someone, and we get a POV shot outside the window looking in. The end.
Okay. Let's start with Emily's plot.
It's both the most annoying and the most interesting.
It's really all they give us in this. So are we going to see Addison again? Is Addison going to be a recurring problem?
I wonder if like Addison is going to be I'm like, is she like a perfectionist character? I wouldn't be surprised. But I hope she's not a recurring problem through the rest of this season. Because like, it's just it's not interesting enough. Like, I get that they're trying to be like Emily is sorting through all her feelings of Allison and dumping it on this teenager, but it's also not about that, because then they complicate it by like, well, this teenager is also awful and like crying wolf about sexual assault from a teacher. And like,
specifically like a gay teacher. Like the idea that they played into that too. I'm like,
it's like, ooh, how depraved this 16-year-old is, which only makes sense in the context of when they're all teenagers beforehand, not when we have to then go, our POV character is an adult having to interface with a character. So then you're telling us that like it's irresponsible because it's like, don't believe, wow, adults won't believe the teacher, but they would believe the 16-year-old who's talking about sexual assault, when real life and stories tell us that it's pretty much the exact opposite, to like much more negative effect. Like, you know, it's terrible.
How did Paige, because I'm assuming Paige is the one who sent the principal the email, like how did Paige workshop all that? How did she do this?
Yeah, so
what's Paige doing?
What is Paige doing? I don't know. I'm like, did Paige make up that email? It sounds like Paige made up that email. That Addison, what was Addison doing sending an email in 2017 anyway? That's actually the biggest like bullshit detector that this could have come up as.
To her friends.
It's like, what are they doing sending emails? Doesn't she send texts? Like, she's got an iMessage group chat going. She's not a...
Well, it'd have to be on school property for them to catch her. Like, you can't check her phone as a teacher.
So it's like sending it on the school email.
Yeah, during computer lab, because her first class was computer lab.
So did Paige log in as her and then send this email to the friends to then, or like fake this all?
I don't know.
That's what I assume, because unless Addison's that stupid, which Addison doesn't seem that stupid. They're trying to make parallels between her and Allison was extremely capable of not getting caught.
Okay. Logistically, why are the girls all talking about the game in front of the board game, which we know has a phone on it that we definitely know can like see and hear us?
Damn, what do we do about this?
Like, they don't even bother to whisper.
No.
Or like cover the microphone.
When we're away from the game, we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
We want AD to hear.
Go discuss at Hannah's house, maybe?
Our thoughts.
Go outside.
Yeah, AD and the NSA need to hear this.
Okay, so question for you about Spencer.
Okay.
So when she has the dream where Maddie from Dance Moms is dancing in Radley, is that foreshadowing of her being born in Radley? I was trying to figure out if that was like intentional, like that she had deeper ties to Radley than she knew.
Oh, yeah. And what was in the room with, wasn't it like bathtubs?
Yeah, it was the bathtub room that they go into later.
Yeah. So was that at some point?
Which was like a record room or whatever at that point. Like the.
Was that almost like the delivery room or something? It could be. I could see that.
Oh, yeah, it could have been the delivery room.
That's a good pull.
Because then all the nursery stuff and stuff is where we find Spencer, right? When she's like walking around in Radley.
Yes. Wait.
With the baby doll stuff.
We might have seen that before.
No, that was Mona, huh?
Yeah.
It was Mona.
Mona.
When she's got her dolls and she's using her coded language.
Yes. It's, what is it again?
Maya's sleeping sweetly. Something. And then, you're not a killer, Aria. Miss Aria, you're Ezra's wife. Something like that.
Yes. That's right.
Okay. Spencer, how do we feel about her telling Marco about Mary Drake?
Yeah,
Good, bad?
I don't think you should trust him. I'm upset. I think, I can't remember if it was this week or the week before, where it's like I'm watching them together. Oh, wait, it was actually this week. And I'm like watching them together. I'm like, damn, it's going to be a real bummer when we find out he's a bad guy, because they're like, this is the best like relationship on the show right now. He's like very like charming in a very like low-key way, like where he's just kind of like a nice, disarming person. He's very like naturalistic. It's nothing's like really over the top, and it's just like kind of like just charming guy. So it like works out real nice. So like I understand why she told him. Probably not going to be a good idea in the long run. I'm still banking just off the history of the show.
Okay.
Let's see. If we look at like major cop characters, Tanner's the only one that hasn't proven to be like creep. Actually. Lorenzo, I forgot.
And Toby. He's a dud. He's not a creep.
That's true.
There's that difference.
Oh, I forgot about Lorenzo.
Oh.
I wonder if he must have just gotten another job.
I think he got booked somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they were really setting him up. It's like, ooh, he's going to be the big
and he was promoted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nope.
And now Toby has to decide between his boyfriend or his ex-girlfriend.
I know. Wouldn't that be great?
That would have been great.
And Lorenzo's like, when are you finally going to get over her and like build me that goddamn house?
That house is for me. Build me a boat. The Hastings, we're selling the house, even though Spencer currently lives there and we didn't bother to tell her, is only unmatched by the whole, like, we're not really sure how much Melissa knew, and did Melissa really know Spencer was adopted? How much do you think Melissa knew? And why would she have never brought it up?
Oh, that's Melissa to a T. Well, I don't know why you would even like need to know that, Spencer. It's for your own good that we didn't tell you that you were adopted.
But in a fight, she wouldn't bring that up? The
No.
same woman who told her, I know you love shopping in other people's carts?
Yes. That Melissa has had a file like a mile long on Spencer for so long and has never brought out anything because like Melissa's like, ooh, I know. You might think you win this argument, but I know so much shit about
I buried
you.
a body for you. I'm just
Exactly.
kidding.
You ungrateful.
It wasn't actually for you.
You ungrateful adopted sister. Or half sister, actually. Sorry.
Okay, let's talk about Aria. Aria and Holden. Holden's giving Aria therapy while she's helping him at his job, which seems meh. And it was all going well until we get to the Holden being like, wait, don't go in. Like, that's okay. It's just annoying. It's just
like,
weird.
Don't do that. You don't have to be the like overly needy and untrustworthy like girlfriend. Mm-hmm. Which is like, ugh.
But like, I hate, that makes me mad because one of the biggest like things that pisses me off is the concept of like the cool girl, the girl who like goes with anything. This is why I could not stand the movie Gone Girl. Could not fucking stand it. And there's actually many reasons, but that was one of them. The idea that the cool girl is like this thing you want to strive towards, or that men like the cool girl. And I'm like, a real man wants to date a person. Mm-hmm. They want to be with a person. A person cares when you do weird shit to them, or when you treat them poorly, or when you are being weird about telling your now allegedly ex-girlfriend about your now fiance because he's like, well, but she was missing for a long time and she wasn't ready. I don't give a shit if she's ready.
Wake up.
What about you?
Well, what about, yeah. No, it is complete agreement. And
I'm just angry. That was just my own excuse to rant.
No, it's perfect. And then also at the beginning too, with Holden being, well, he wasn't like frozen in amber while you guys weren't dating. It's like, but that's not what this is about. I knew that, and then we got together later. We're like together now.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about what he's done. It's about where he is, and it's just like because he's not communicating now, she's worried about where he's been.
Mm-hmm. Even with all this, I've been enjoying Holden being back on the show more than I thought.
He's fun.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is a fun character.
How did A lock Hanna in the cage and send the shoe flying at her without her being seen, or him being seen, or them being seen? A just have a series of levers and pulleys.
Pretty much. Threw a shoe at the cage and it locked it. That's that A magic right there.
Do we think Hanna's slip up to Mona means that Mona's going to figure out that there's a game?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Mona's no dummy.
Do you think Hanna slipped on purpose?
No.
Okay.
That'd be cool if she did, actually. But like Mona's going to be like, well, okay, so like there's shit you're not telling me now. I'm the smartest person on the show. Like by far.
Melissa takes offense to that, but you're not wrong.
Well, I mean, she's all the way in London. I'm sorry.
She can't do anything from there.
Maybe she is around.
She's going to do it. Yell at Hanna in a bathroom. Let's talk about Jenna.
Yeah.
Jenna, I could hear Spencer breathe in this room, but I couldn't identify the girls in the haunted house. Did she intentionally not identify them and not kill them?
That's the only way it would possibly not be annoying. This is the only way it would make sense. But then she turned and fired on him, so I'm like, I feel like we're just being.
Did she actually shoot at them, or did we only hear gunshots while she was pointing a gun?
She actually shot at them.
Okay.
It was they left, and then it was the final moment where they go to run, and then she turns her gun on them and fires. We don't know if that's it isn't obviously the one that hit Spencer, but a gun was fired.
Okay.
Unless it could have just been she did this, held her gun up in front of the camera, and then someone else. There's a gunshot sound, and we find out later she never fired a gun at all. Yeah. Because I don't think there was any effect. You know what I mean? To like show you that a gun went off.
Mm-hmm. What are the logistics of getting Jenna Hannah's dress?
Okay. And then to get the one. Okay, so we had to get the design, and then borrow that dress, go get it made, go get it tailored in a different color, and then get it made to Jenna's size.
I mean, yeah, but I would assume that most of these girls were around the same size at this point.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But she's shorter than...
That's true, yeah.
But still, it's like... I guess must have just taken... I guess maybe once AD knew that Catherine wanted that one, it's like, ooh, we're going to take it. We're going to expose her.
Yeah. And then finally, is Jenna telling any truth with her story about Noel recruiting her and that's all a lie?
Bullshit.
Okay.
Like I said, Noel wrote a script for her.
Are you ready for the next episode?
Yeah, real quick. Why do we have to have a trio of blind villains?
I think you can answer that yourself. We don't.
No. They're not going to do anything either. It's not just going to be... They're not going to be characters. They're just going to stand around and look menacing.
You know what I've realized in this last part of the show? They're really doing like every couple episodes, we're going to bring in some old characters and like let them have like a good scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why it's so fucking boring.
Yeah.
Because like we don't care about... I mean, Holden's fine, but like we don't really care about Holden. We don't really care about Sydney. I think it was their way of trying to like really throw like a... You don't know who A is. It could be any of these people.
Right. Look, we're even pulling back people Holden, who hasn't been on the show in 5 seasons. Or, 4 seasons.
Much a little, I was thinking. I don't think it's been that long.
Season 7, episode 13, episode 153, Hold Your Peace. I-E-C. E. Spencer wakes up to the sound of a baby crying. She finds that it's coming from the phone on the game table, and she silences it. She goes back to bed, and it once again wakes her up. She goes back and turns off the phone. It turns back on, and so Spencer tries to hide it, but ends up calling everyone over, except Allison's not there. Aria asks why they can't just hide the phone at Allison since she's out of town. Emily says she's actually going through a lot right now. She can't come home to a crying baby. Hannah's like, what's she up to anyways? And Emily's like, a lot, ... They pass around the pillow, which is holding the phone.
So annoying.
They pass around the pillow, which is holding the phone. When it gets past to Hanna, it stops, and Hanna looks at the phone and is like, I guess it's my turn. The next morning, Emily and Hanna are up, and Hanna hid the phone in her purse. Caleb comes in with the newspaper. Hanna is on the front of the style section for designing Catherine's dress. Hanna is also meeting with Lucas and the investors that night, so really exciting stuff. Caleb even gives it up for Mona for arranging all this. Emily then reads on a design blog that there's an article that titled Stolen Design on Senator's Daughter. Spencer sees Toby at the brew. Yvonne's out of the coma. Toby goes to leave as Marco comes in. He says, great to see Toby, up on his feet. Toby says thank you and heads off. Marco says he didn't hear back from Spencer when he left her a message. He's got a buddy in Jersey who can help him find people. So he's like, I need to focus on my life right now, the people in my life right now, not the ones I'm missing. And Marco's like, oh, does that include me? And invites her out for the day, and Spencer agrees. Aria's over at Hanna's, and Hanna says the blog got it from an anonymous source and it's been reblogged, and she's worried it's AD. Caleb found out that Jenna checked out of the Radley last night, and he wants to go after Sydney to track down Jenna. They track down Sydney's cell phone. If they track Sydney's cell, then they can track... they're trying to track Sydney's cell phone. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ. Caleb gives Hanna a pen listening device because he's Q. Aria sees a special interview with Nicole, who says it's great seeing Fitz again. Caleb and Hanna see her watching the TV, and Aria turns it off and is like, it's okay. Fitz and I will find our way back to each other, just like you two. Let's hope it's just not like them. Stay away from whoever Spencer ends up dating.
Yeah, don't you dare.
She doesn't deserve this. She's been through a lot. There's someone who's been through a lot. I mean, Allison has also been through a lot. Emily's at the hospital with Toby. Yvonne is starting to come back around but isn't talking yet. Yvonne then says, Toby, and he goes running into the room. Emily heads off to get a nurse. Caleb and Hanna.
It's a beautiful reenactment.
Yeah, thank you.
Surprised they haven't invited you to join SAG.
Me too. Caleb and Hanna. It's probably because I don't have any parts. Caleb and Hanna are at the apartment. Caleb goes to grab. Caleb goes to grab GPS trackers as Hanna gets a notification from AD. The AD phone says it's time to play. Shows a door and says answer the door. She then gets a knock at the door. Caleb comes back around and opens it to find a doll that Caleb says is her, but it's like one of the life-size dolls.
Like a mannequin or like a dummy.
There you go. That's a much better way of putting it. But it doesn't look like her at all. After commercial, Hanna tells him about the board game, and Hannah's like, "You really thought that was me?" The doll has a pull string in the back, and Caleb pulls it, and it says, "For more instructions, please read the appendix." Caleb wants to look at the board, and Hanna says, "Your piece isn't on the board. I don't think you're invited to play." Back off. Marco and Spencer.
It's not your turn.
Stay away. Marco and Spencer head to a rec center. Marco says he called ahead and his buddy reserved the room for themselves. Spencer's like, "You moved senior Zumba for me. How thoughtful." But is into the date. It's cute. Yvonne does some tests to see if she has her physical abilities back, with Toby there to cheer her on. He shows her their wedding rings and he says, "We should just get married today." She puts the ring on his finger and says, "I do." Lucas meets with Hanna. One of the investors' daughters follows the blog, and the investors now want reinsurance on Hanna. Hanna is worried about the worst, just catastrophizing about everything, and Lucas says, "My company can absorb whatever the loss is. I need to pump you up. Let's look at your designs. Let's look at your designs to go over everything." And goes to where the doll is covered by a sheet, and Hanna gets him to not pull the sheet off. Lucas then heads off, and Hanna texts someone to help Aria find Sydney. We then see Emily is with Aria Googling Sydney, and they're looking at Sydney's website. Apparently she went to and apparently she updates it daily, because apparently she went to a charity gala 2 days ago, and it's the same where...
I think it's Facebook, and they said she checked in because they said she checked in.
At a gala.
And remember how that was like a thing on Facebook? You used to check in?
Oh, yeah. And then there was like a joke also to check in places.
Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently she went to a charity gala 2 days ago, and it's the same one where Hannah's dress was at. They look up the gala photos, and they find that Sydney is literally in the background of a few photos of Catherine, taking pictures of Catherine. Emily wonders if Jenna confessed to the police to protect Sydney. Hanna looks in the appendices of all the books in Lucas's loft and can't find anything. Caleb, meanwhile, is investigating the board game, but without touching it. He wonders how it's keeping power. Hanna realizes that she has to cut open the doll and remove the appendix. Cut to later, and she takes a steak knife to it, and fake blood comes out. She finds a bag with a note that says, "Wear me." Spencer and Marco play...
I really thought they were going to... I wouldn't have figured that out.
Hayes would have just been sitting there, listening to him, Jesus Christ, did I make this too hard?
I would have never thought to cut into the doll. I'd have been well...
Just be wow, this one was real dud. The game's not moving forward at all. I need to somehow give him some clues.
I keep getting the chutes and not the ladders.
That's good.
Thank you. I don't think it was that funny.
It's pretty funny.
Got you right in the giggles.
Mm-hmm. Spencer and Marco play Big Bog, and it's close. Marco says he learned how to play on this rec center table. Spencer wins, and she thanks him for winning, and he farts back. He gets upset about the cases and wonders how they couldn't find the second firearm, and that the Rollins case is still open. Spencer encourages him to focus on the date. Spencer's wound starts to bleed, so Marco goes to get a first aid kit to patch it up.
This is my favorite romance trope. I love nothing more than oh, let me fix your wound. Let me help you.
Let me care for you.
Let me be tender for you and take care of you.
Yeah. Nothing better.
But they don't really do it well.
No.
You kind of do it and the person's trying to keep them distracted from the pain or whatever. And there's usually more to it. And this I was
it's just kind of blotchy.
Yeah.
It's you just need leaking. To redress it.
Yeah. Also, why is her bullet wound? Is it not packed? Are stitched? I don't know. We don't see it, so I guess there's that. But
it was just, it wasn't that bad. Spencer notices a kid's drawing on the wall of an adult and a child, and the note says, "To Gloriana, love Marco." Emily and Aria track Sydney, and
there's no way if he had made that however many years ago, that paper would not have been yellow.
Right. How old is he? When did you make that drawing?
Last week.
Right. Gloriana must have died recently. Emily and Aria track Sydney, and they have Caleb's spy devices. Emily needs to take a device.
Wait, also, has this man just been local to Rosewood the whole time then?
Yeah, essentially. Or
but he
wherever they're at.
Okay, I don't know where they are.
It doesn't really say.
Okay.
Maybe like Philly? I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. Emily and Aria track Sydney and they have Caleb's spy devices. Emily needs to take a device in her purse while Aria is using a computer to hack into Sydney's phone. They see Sydney leave an office and Emily goes to follow her. Hanna finds that the baggie held a dress that is like traditional, like kind of like Japanese styling and is super short, and all the investors are from Japan, so they're guaranteed to be offended. She's upset that she doesn't get to be creative and confident in the meeting, and she isn't often seen as a leader and taken seriously.
Well, I think it's also like it's not even like traditional Japanese. It's like what you think of like when you order like a costume online that says like Japanese woman. So it's like it's not nice.
Yeah.
And it's cultural appropriation at best.
Right. And it's also cut like super short on her. So yeah. But it's a fair point. I get Hanna here being upset that she like doesn't get the chance to like be like taken seriously by these people. She asks Caleb if he can stop the board game before her meeting, and he's like, I'll try. Emily sees Sydney outside a coffee shop. Sydney asks if Caleb or Mona sent Emily. Emily says, doesn't matter. Sydney says, I'm glad it's you poking around. I thought it'd be the cops. I was at the Radley giving Caleb and Mona a message. I didn't know what Jenna was up to. Jenna sold it as a practical joke. After high school, her and Jenna drifted apart, and she wished it'd stay that way, and she won't do favors for Jenna anymore. She asks Emily's excuse for getting dragged back into old drama, and Emily doesn't have an answer. Sydney leaves, and Emily goes back to the car. Aria found out that Sydney has an appointment later at Vogel Vision Institute. Aria shows off the listening pen and says they should get there first. They trail Sydney there and see her go inside. They listen in on her checking in at the front desk, dropping off a security deposit for Jenna. Sydney says the deposit is from AD for anonymous donor. Aria thinks Jenna is getting her eyesight back. Aria sees Sydney get a text from a blocked number asking if she did it, and Sydney texts back, it's done. Marco tends to Spencer's wounds and says, and Spencer's like, well, your hands are bigger than when you were a kid. And Marco says, Gloria ran this place for decades and helped everyone who came in through those doors. It was comfort to come here when at home. His mom was an addict. He says that his mom is clean now and they talk once a month and that works for them. Spencer appreciates the day and the date that he took her on, and that she's not the only one with a complicated family. Marco says, not complicated, just love the people that are best for you, and kisses her. Yeah, fair enough. Yvonne and Toby get married at the hospital. Aria and Emily stop Sydney on the street and grab her bag and tell her they're going to see Jenna and learn about the initials AD. Sydney tries to run and Aria grabs her. Emily plays good cop and Aria plays bad cop, which is essentially Emily being like, tell us what you know, and Aria yelling at her, which is great. That's exactly how the role should be. Sydney doesn't know, not that Emily can't play bad cop based on the situation, but when she's with Aria, let Aria loose.
I love nothing more than when Aria is just like angry Chihuahua energy.
Absolutely feral. Sydney doesn't know anyone with the initials AD. She works for a client at the bank, and she's just doing her job. Janet hasn't been answering Sydney's call or text. Her games have gotten a little dangerous for Sydney's taste lately. Sydney leaves and Aria puts a GPS tracker in her bag. Emily calls Hanna and we see Hanna is in the dress from AD. Spencer comes home to Caleb diagnosing the board game and is upset he's there and that Hanna told him about it. He wonders what the hum and clicks are in the board game and doesn't know if it's mechanical or electrical. He has to see if the screws underneath if there's screws underneath the buildings. He's like, if this is weird, I can leave. And Spencer's like, no, I want this to be fine. Yeah.
No, leave.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out, because you just become a burden in a few seconds. She gets them both a beer and she tells him about Marco going out. Her and Marco going out today. Props up at one of the buildings and it sprays gas at him.
He gets basically pepper sprayed.
It's really funny. And he can't breathe and falls on the couch, and Spencer calls 911. Hanna comes into the Radley and meets Lucas in the lobby. She thanks him before they head up to meet the investors and asks him to promise they'll always be friends. Hanna gets a text from Spencer that Caleb's in the hospital, and Lucas is like, takes a sketchbook from Hanna and says, you go figure something out. I'll figure something out. Ugh, good Lord. Can't even read my own notes. Yvonne and Toby have dessert. Toby says, we never decided where we were going to go on our honeymoon, and Yvonne's like, well, I thought we'd be in our finished house at that point. And Toby's like, well, where do you want to go? She's like, I want to go to a city. And they dream of all the places they'll go. He asks if she's happy, and she says the happiest, and then drops her flowers and dies.
I've been waiting for this. This isn't one of them, though.
Oh my God, I can't believe it's not one of them.
This is like one of the ones that I was like, yeah, it happens.
She just dies. She's like, okay, I'm done.
Literally.
Oh God, what did I do? I married Toby. Lord, take me.
He's a cop.
He was building his house for our house for his ex.
Well, she doesn't know that.
I know.
I mean, she probably knows that, but
well, now she does.
She's an all-knowing sentient ghost. I forgot.
Hanna visits Caleb in the hospital, and he seems to be okay now. He told the doctors he had accidentally mixed bleach and ammonia to cover up how he actually got injured. He can't really give the whole story. He asks how it went with the investors, and Hannah's like, it doesn't matter. Lucas covered for me, and this is more important than AD's game. Hanna gets a text and says, be right back. Hanna sees the other friends in the lobby, and the AD phone lit up and says she lost her turn and her prize. They wonder what happens to the piece. Hanna says the turns are unfair and talks about how Spencer didn't even have to do much. She just had to go visit Toby. Which is fair enough.
Spencer said, I'll torture Toby instead.
Yeah, pretty much. Spencer's like got nothing to lose right now. Nothing.
I mean, how are you going to hurt her at this point?
Pretty much. Spencer goes to visit Toby and Yvonne before she leaves. Hanna tells Emily and Aria that they don't have to stay and Caleb will get released soon. Hanna leaves and Emily's spy pad lights up and Sydney's on the move. Emily's going to take first watch and follows her. Goes off to follow her. Spencer finds Toby in the hall looking devastated, and Spencer realizes what happened, and then he falls into her arms and cries. Aria walks into Fitz's apartment and leaves Fitz a message asking for his help. Sabrina quit because she got a new job in Atlanta. Goodbye, Sabrina. As she leaves the message, we see a figure stand up in the shadows. Aria pulls a knife, and we see it's Nicole. Exciting times next week, hopefully. A gloved hand opens an envelope addressed to Rosewood PD. We see it's Marco and the other officers. When he pulls out a cloth, he pulls out the cloth out of the envelope. There's a smell, and he's like, that's not good, and unrolls it to find a finger. The end.
Okay. Why did AD decide the best way to like torture them was to make the phone cry like a baby when Allison's not even around?
I know. I thought it would be something related to that. Or like Emily. I thought it would be at least related to Emily. Now it's Hanna.
Make it make sense.
Yeah. Doesn't make any sense. Hanna has nothing to do with kids. No lineage or anything.
What do we think about Marco and Spencer?
I like them.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm going to be hurt. You know what? This is another run at Alex, honestly. Of like, she's just with her working class boyfriend who's like from like a, like a poor home. Like
it is kind of like a second chance at Alex.
Yeah.
But Alex was working at the club.
That's right. And
this guy's a cop.
He's a cop, yeah.
I wonder what Alex is doing. He's like a pro tennis player
I
now.
hope he's a pro tennis player. Using challengers.
It's about him.
That's right. Him and his boyfriend.
Let's talk
and
about
his girlfriend.
Toby and Yvonne. They got married. They talk about doing the weird thing that people do. Sorry if you did this with your wedding, where they freeze part of their cake and then eat it on their 1 year anniversary, which is like a thing that I've always been like, just buy a small version of the same cake.
Cake is cake.
Cake is cake. Why freeze cake for that long? But you do you. Some people are sentimental. I'm not.
We're just judgmental.
She's tired. But then they kill Yvonne. Ding dong, Yvonne is dead. I literally in my notes wrote Yvonne is dead and with an exclamation point, and then I was like, I should probably like put an emotion behind that because it looks like I'm excited.
Yeah, she just dies.
Uh-huh.
Well, we needed to do something with Toby, so
they gave her the Meg treatment, which if you listen to this podcast from the very beginning, when we watched Veronica Mars, there's a character named Meg, spoiler alert, who is like interesting.
That's the spoiler.
And like fun. And then she dates Veronica's ex-boyfriend and they're all friends and it's fine and whatever. And then at one point there's a season where the school bus goes over a cliff and almost everyone dies, but Veronica wasn't on it because she was in the limo or on the back of a motorcycle. I can't fucking remember now. I think she was on the motorcycle with Weevil.
Yes.
But anyway, so Meg is the only one who survives this, and then she's in the hospital, and then we find out that Meg was pregnant with Duncan's baby, which
also
is
similarly in a coma for a while.
And she's in a coma, and then she wakes up long enough to basically like, I don't even know if she gives birth, but she wakes up long enough to like give us some cryptic information, and then they fucking kill Meg. And the first time I watched this, and the second time I watched this, was so fucking mad. Because why?
No reason. She was a great character before all that too.
Yeah, and she's interesting and fun.
Yeah. And
once we go back and I'm like, I hated her.
yeah, exactly.
She didn't deserve that.
No. But yeah, neither does Yvonne.
No.
They're just like, oh, I got nothing else to do with you. Goodbye.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Take her out with a deer.
Toby needs something to do. Yeah, with a deer. Yeah.
Because just being emotionally confused wasn't enough for him. We had to literally kill Yvonne.
Yep.
I wouldn't want to be with Toby after that.
No. Absolutely not. That's what I'm saying. She came to long enough to realize she'd married Toby, and it's like, Lord, take me.
Okay. For Hanna, is it AD specifically that's just like, I really want to mess with your fashion stuff? Is it just a way to torture her? Is there some other fashion related information we don't know about Hanna? Like, why is AD messing with her career specifically? And only her career.
Yeah. I guess what? Okay.
I guess she messed with Emily's career last week.
Oh, that's true. Emily's career and trauma are just like bundled up into one.
And her love triangle.
Yeah.
She likes to keep it all in one place.
That's right.
She's very simple, very easy to organize.
She can keep eyes on both of them. I guess it's just because that's the thing that she could poke Hanna about.
And what's going to happen now that Hanna didn't do her dare from AD? Also, why did no one else get a truth or dare like Spencer?
I know. Get the option to do truth. Nope, there's no option for anybody else. I thought it was like really anticlimactic that nothing happened. It was just like, oh, you lost your turn. I'm like, really? That's all? AD's like, damn, call my bluff.
Well, maybe we don't know when, we don't know where, but something will happen.
I guess maybe we don't know what happened with the investors. Maybe the investors followed through. There's like actually something else that follows up there, I guess. But yeah, it's just kind of like, oh, wow, okay, nothing happened. Lost my puzzle piece.
Let's talk about Emily and Aria. It's a fun duo.
Mm-hmm.
Aria is showing off her schools from her Caleb's coding school for girls that we got back when Sarah Harvey was still alive.
That's right.
She's like, Caleb showed me how to do this. And I'm like, remember he was showing her how to do other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It did come back around. They didn't show it to us, though. And that would have been more interesting than what they did with the last episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
This episode was all right.
Yeah.
But the one before it could have really used some zhuzh, especially.
Absolutely. Yeah, if they had Caleb's STEM school for women, that'd be great.
Yeah, now that they're adults.
And yeah, exactly. Because also Caleb knows how to do other tech shit now. He's like diagnosing if the game is mechanical and electrical, and he's got like all these instruments and things. I thought you just knew how to code. But no.
He works for the government now.
That's right.
Will Sydney lead us to Jenna when Emily ran off at the end there?
Oh, right. Yeah, I assume so. It seems fairly obvious that Sydney is not very good at lying. And that Sydney is just going to lead him back. That Emily is also, and I sympathize this with Emily, of being like, oh, okay, well, you gave me the answer, and that's good. And then seeing, they lied to me.
What's Sydney's motivation for helping Jenna?
They were I guess they're just close friends. She's doing nefarious shit for Jenna for a long time. So she's just connected in that way. And I assume it would probably be they're still friends or something.
Okay.
Still friendly.
Aria, 10 out of 10 episode for her. Hacking, tracking, attacking Sydney.
That's true. She is knocking it out of the park this episode.
She really is doing her shit.
Yeah, where she just grabs, pulls her Sydney's like arm back around, shoves her against the wall.
Because she's dated multiple boys, or at least been friends with, and then dated a boy who taught her how to fight. Because she should have ended up with Jake.
That's right. She dated two guys that like karate.
Well, she didn't technically date Holden.
Oh, that's right. She was just friends with Holden.
They were just friends. They were each other's beards, I guess.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised. I've always like, did we bring it up on the episode? That I've always thought that like there would be some reveal of like Holden being gay. But
instead it was that he was doing yeah, because I think you guessed it, and then it was instead that he was doing martial arts.
Oh right, yeah. But it's not even, because I get that they're very easygoing and like friends with each other, and not that like, you know, just straight people like
can't have friends.
Yeah,
you know the rules
of like different genders. But there's just something about the
way they wrote
vibes.
the character.
Yeah. I'm just like, okay.
We also just want everyone, I think, to be gay most of the time.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of.
You just look at what they do with the well, I guess even gay relationships aren't safe from this.
No.
The vibes on Paige, they just make Paige so awful.
They do. They make Paige like absolutely just like horrific on this.
Yeah. We have not forgotten the drowning. We have not forgotten the spying on Sabrina and Emily.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, oh, Sabrina, she called me. Looks like you're going to take a job in Atlanta. Also, what a bummer.
Uh-huh.
I like them.
I hope Sabrina, like the actress, actually got a different job, and that's why she left. That was
much like Lorenzo. She's on the same show as Lorenzo.
They went off to do something better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? Actually, the shoe's going to drop, and I'm going to be upset about it. But right now, Marco and Spencer. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, good vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Is Aria just casually running Ezra's business for him while he's gone?
I guess so. Aria's like,
I wouldn't.
Fitz, your taxes were due. I don't know what to do.
Who's your accountant?
I went to H&R Block, and I'm pretty sure I don't. I'm so sorry. Do you have your cup?
I'm fine. Almost just spat water all over our dog.
For the audio version, she took a big sip of water.
Didn't expect you to keep going.
But anyways,
you were done, but we were going to H&R Block.
Oh God, just imagining like that every night that the numbers are off on like the
register. I think that's Sabrina's job. So
right, and Ari's like, I've never done this. I didn't work service.
She's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Why is Nicole in the loft, and what's going to happen with that? Because she's there by herself in the dark.
Uh-huh. And it's like she wanted, I think she maybe like found out about Aria and wanted to like talk to her one-on-one. And also probably has some other wild shit that she's going to dump on us about her time in Colombia. And that like maybe her parents and Fitz are not allowing her to speak and like just taking care of her essentially. And she's like, I feel suffocated and I didn't know where to go. So I went to the loft.
Okay.
And then Aria, actually, maybe it's more likely she doesn't know about Aria. And she's like, Aria, what are you doing here?
What did AD put in the puzzle that sprayed Caleb?
I don't know. It is very funny. That was so funny that he's just like...
lifts it up and leans over.
It's whatever the compressed air that they do in like DJ sets.
And then last but not least, Rosewood PD is just received Archer's finger, we assume, in the mail. Is this from A? Is this from someone else?
Yeah, I assume AD to like show that like Rollins is dead. Mr. Dunhill. Actually, sorry, that was his father.
All right, those are my questions for you. That's all I have.
Okay.
Do you have anything to add to your theories in the corner?
Like, there isn't really a lot this week to add.
No, they didn't give us anything. They said give you nothing.
Yeah, I feel bad not doing a theory corner, but I don't really have anything.
Okay.
I mean, okay, so what's going to happen? They're going to follow up on Sydney. She's going to meet with Jenna, and they're going to follow up on Rollins' thing and find out that he's dead, and then Marco's going to have a lot of questions for Spencer.
Is Jenna going to lead them to AD?
No, I don't think Jenna knows, because Jenna doesn't really know who AD is.
That's true.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Like, there's nothing else.
No.
Yeah.
The menace isn't really menacing.
No.
I was like, oh, we need more A hijinks. And then I'm like, well, A is not really doing it.
Mm-mm.
A peeked at the dollhouse, and then we killed that A.
And now we have AD after death.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, there's like not much at all.
Okay, quick guesses. Who's the baby's father?
Which baby? Allison's?
Yes.
Allison's baby?
Yeah.
Who's the father?
Yeah, who's the father? Is it Rollins?
I would assume so.
Okay.
My money's on Rollins.
Makes sense.
Guess it could be someone else. Who else would it be?
I was gonna go through paternity of everyone.
Okay,
So,
so
like-
it could be okay. So it'd be Rollins. Could it be someone else? I don't know who else it would be.
Well, because you were playing with the theory that it was Emily's egg.
Yeah.
So then did he fertilize Emily's
first.
egg with himself to then stick it in Allison? Because that's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or AD did that.
Oh, AD did that or he did that?
I think that's AD.
So was he participating in that? Did he know?
No.
So then how did AD do that? You know how babies are made, right?
I guess he could have been participating in it.
Okay. I was like,
Part of
okay,
the metaphor.
how?
Yeah. Actually, I bet he was participating.
Okay. I would hope so. Okay. You've guessed on Charlotte's parents, right?
Yes.
Which was
Peter.
Peter.
Yeah.
And Mary. Well, we know Mary.
Right, exactly. Or that it actually could have been Kenneth.
Oh, yeah. Or Kenneth.
Yeah.
Because that's why we got the whole, that's my baby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that it also could have been a surrogate situation.
Yes, yeah. Okay. Cool. I was just trying to think because I know there's a lot of babies and parenting in different timelines that we're trying to identify the family. So that's why I was like,
obsessed with babies.
We're obsessed with babies.
With parents or lineage, essentially. Mm-hmm. I don't know who else the baby could be for Allison's or the
who Allison's baby daddy could be.
Yeah, other than Rollins. I'm kind of drawing a big blank.
That's absolutely valid. I just because it's in my head like a IVF baby, like it could be.
Yeah.
Because
but I could see it like having some sort of significance to like some other character, but I just am drawing a blank on what that would be.
Unless Allie was just out, maybe it's just hers and she was just out gallivanting around town.
She's gonna be where she's gonna be at.
Love that.
Yeah. All
right. Well.
Hopefully we get some better episodes next week.
We will. The next episode will have a character. Oh, I wanted you to guess. So a character is coming back next week. They just keep bringing back characters, right? Like that's kind of how I feel like the end of the show goes until we get to a certain point. And I don't think you could guess, gun to your head, like who this like featured guest is going to be.
Okay.
That they like run into or like, you know what I mean? Like,
all right. Is it Samara?
No. That's a good guess.
I was like,
that's deep cut.
That's what I was trying to pull. Rebecca.
Little Vampire Diaries for you.
Who's never watched it, but I love it so much.
The Vampire Diaries is a 10 out of 10.
It really is so
of chaos.
Creepy. If you think this show moves fast, that show has something every single episode.
Yeah, I need to finish it so I can watch the originals because then we get more Klaus and Rebecca.
Good stuff.
Anyway, anyone else?
I'm going into my mind plastic, so I shut my eyes.
I didn't know if you were going to see.
Going to bed. Who else could we? Oh, who is that artist guy?
Oh, the guy who lived in Spencer's barn?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm pulling out the
I don't
random
remember
ones.
his name.
I don't remember his name either. Joey?
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. Is Joey?
Yeah, maybe.
Made the machine.
I mix
that
her and
people
her sober coach up a lot.
Oh,
like,
right. Yeah, not that, not the sober coach. I guess it could be the sober coach, but let's see. Let me try one more guess.
Okay.
If I can think of another random character. Damn. The twins.
What twins?
That were against Allison and then joined Allison.
Oh, Cindy and Mindy.
Thank you. They don't get lines.
I was like the little girls in Ravenswood, or like the ones the ghost ones.
What if Miranda comes?
I was when you were saying Yvonne, like knowing everything being a ghost. I was like, oh, we've taken a very Ravenswood twist at the end. They end it with a Ravenswood plotline.
Oh man, what if Miranda comes back next episode and it's just for all the Ravenswood heads? And people are like, who is this ghost?
Well, we'd have known her from the one episode. She was there.
Or right,
she was
but
on
I
the
guess
bus.
people would be like, why is she a ghost?
It's Miranda. Miranda died.
Right. Or she just comes back alive and people who watch Ravenswood have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
That's my guess. I can't think of anybody else.
Okay. None of those are correct, but I'm proud of you for trying.
Alex coming back?
No.
Jake?
No.
Damn. Struck out.
Okay.
It's gonna be like so annoying when I figure out when I see who it is.
Yeah, you're gonna scream. Like just because you're gonna be like, oh, I didn't even think of that.
person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well.
So you can continue watching or listening to us for that next episode when the light bulb goes off on either your audio podcast platforms of choice at Dead Ends or on YouTube for the video version at dead_ends. You can also email us, like we said at the beginning, at deadendspcast@gmail.com. Give us 5 stars, rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff on YouTube. We like, and if you have like questions that you want to like us to talk about and things, send it to the email or post on YouTube. We like talking to people there.
Mm-hmm. Well,
we're still here, and we're gonna find out everything.
And next week you'll find out who I'm talking about.
Woohoo!